Masih Alinejad, founder of My Stealthy Freedom, Iranian journalist and activist, and as you can see, owner of a glorious head of hair that would be criminal to cover. Right?
Too much.
Too much. Now, Masi was banned from reporting in Iran after she exposed a bonus scandal in the Iranian parliament. She's been living in exile since 2009 in London and then now Brooklyn, but she's still furiously reporting, working her network of sources on the ground to continue exposing human rights abuses in Iran and building a liberation movement for women. Welcome, Masi.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Now, let's talk about this platform that you've started, My Stealthy Freedom. You've built a monster social media presence for Iranian women, and it started with that photo we just saw of you running through blossoms. Tell us about it.
I didn't have any plan to make the movement, I have to be honest. It was just a photo of me running in a street full of blossoms, and I was enjoying the wind through my hair. Maybe it's nonsense to you, but for us, that means a lot. And I just wrote a caption that every time when I run in a free country and I feel the wind through my hair, it just reminds me of the time when my hair was like a hostage in the hands of Iranian government. That was the caption. And then I received a lot of comments from Iranian women inside Iran, envying my freedom, from not having compulsory hijab, saying that do not publish such pictures because we don't have freedom here. And soon after, I published another picture of myself inside Iran without headscarf, because I was a woman in Iran without having freedom to be myself, but I knew how to bypass the authorities. And I just asked women inside Iran, I'm sure there are a huge number of you having the same pictures without headscarf and creating the moment of freedom, which I call it stealthy, in secret. But if you share it with me, then we are not going to be stealthy anymore. We are not going to be having our freedom in secret. I was bombarded by pictures. There are a lot of brave women inside Iran, and they wanted to say no to compulsory hijab, and the beautiful pictures that you all have seen, it's the platform of My Stealthy Freedom.
Well, and of course, the pictures have gone on coming, and they keep posting. Do you fear sometimes that these are going to get them into trouble when you post them on My Stealthy Freedom? I mean, it's one thing to be brave in virtual reality. It's another thing to face the morality police in Iran.
That's true. I'm sure there are some Iranian women here. Being a woman in Iran means you live in a dangerous situation. You live with fear every day when you want to go out. And according to the police of Iran, there were 3.6 million women were warned and stopped by morality police in the street within a year. And 40,000 cars were confiscated. Why? Because the women drivers did not have a proper Islamic hijab. So 18,000 of women were sent to the court. Why? Because they were not fully covering their hair. So these women who were in Iran and putting themselves in danger by saying no to forced hijab, they didn't send their pictures to me. But they were at risk.
Anyway.
So for me, just giving them a voice means a lot, because without sending their pictures, they're in danger
anyway. Well, you mentioned this unbelievable thing of women being stopped by the police. We have a little clip which shows what happens in Iran if those morality police, who are a sort of squad of regime goons, catch a woman without the hijab. It's worth looking at this little clip, which was filmed in Tehran just over a year ago. Let's see the tape. It's incredible. I mean, how often does this happen? How common is a scene like that?
I just gave you the statistics. It often happens when, during the summer, when you don't fully cover your hair. It's not as easy, especially in summer. But in winter, the morality police comes to you and asks you not wear the boots. And this is often happening to Iran. That's why I say that for them, this is the only way
Yeah.
to raise their voices and, get the rest of the world to understand about them.
But it's, the things are changing. Women are rebelling, I'm sure largely helped by you. But Air France reinstated its Paris to Tehran route recently, and many of the female crew members said that they wouldn't work it if they had to wear a hijab. That's very exciting. In solidarity, you launched a campaign urging tourists to share pictures of themselves with their heads uncovered. What happened then?
Plenty of pictures from tourists, from non-Iranian. And some people might say that this is a law inside Iran. So there is nothing to do with Iranian outside Iran, or you shouldn't ask non-Iranians to interfere in Iranian matter. But this is not an internal matter. When hijab affects all Iranians and non-Iranians, this is the time which all women around the world who visit Iran stand with us and talk against compulsory hijab, because the Islamic Republic of Iran wants all women to follow the compulsory hijab, but not saying a single word. So I receive a lot of pictures from tourists now on my Stealthy Freedom page, showing their hair inside Iran and saying no to forced hijab. Some people say this is breaking the law. But being a woman in Iran means that you have to break the law every time. With your loose hijab, you break one law. If you fall in love with someone and holding hand, you break two laws. And if you feel to sing sometimes, no? I have a good voice. Anyway, I can sing for you. But if you sing, it's forbidden, and you're breaking the law. You sometimes feel to dance. And if you dance, you're breaking the law. Or you taking your dog to walk in the street, you're breaking another law. So we, the women of Iran, breaking the laws every day to just be ourselves. And I'm a master criminal. Why? Because the government of Iran thinks that I have too much hair, I have too much voice, and I have too much of a woman.
Okay. So, Masi, you were born in a very conservative family in rural Iran, and other members of your family are veiled, and they're still veiled. So, how did they react to you, to your rebellion? Because it's not like you came from some progressive family where everybody's unveiled.
Good question. It was not easy for me. I was not, look like this always. Oh yeah, that's me. When I just came here and I saw from my small village to this, crowd, I had a long, long journey. For me, I had to first fight for my own right and my family. I love my family. And I promised myself that I'm not going to cry because the government of Iran want me to be weak and cry. My mother, she's not able to read and write. And as you see, she wears hijab. But she understands me. And she doesn't want to force me to be like her. This is Iranian culture. But I had to fight with my father, who I love, and I adore him, and I miss him. But he wanted to take me to heaven by force. And that's why it took me even 3 years outside Iran to be my true self. Why? The government of Iran were not here, but I didn't want to break my father's heart. So when you live in such family and society, hijab can be part of your identity, and it's not as easy as you think. It can be part of your body. It takes time. When you want to take off your scarf, it's like cutting off part of your body and take it away. For me, it took 3 years, and I replaced my hijab with a black hat. It was my so-called hijab. And after that, when I launched the campaign of My Stealthy Freedom, my father was not happy. But I thought, this is the time, because there are a lot of women like me, and they live in society which they need to fight with their own family. They need to talk with the society and the government. And now, my mother is the symbol of Iranian mothers. Iranian, mothers who support the new generation. She says to me that I love you, and I don't want you to be with me. And my dream is this, to be with my mother in America, walk shoulder to shoulder. She doesn't get bad look by those people who have Islamophobia. And I walk with my mother in my own country, shoulder to shoulder, and I didn't get arrested by the morality police because I don't want to wear hijab.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Masi, as well as my Stealthy Freedom and enduring the abuse and horrible attacks that you've had from the Iranian regime, you also do a lot of other really interesting news work. And you recently exposed a story that was going on behind closed doors in Iran for years, which is sexual harassment. And in this case, a very high-profile case involving Shina Sharani, a prominent Iranian TV anchor who endured years of harassment from 2 TV executives. And she recently fled Iran. And you showed the dramatic contrast between the fully covered, modestly dressed news anchor who then had to endure explicit, extended sexual abuse from men in positions of power. You posted this tape, and it was pretty shocking. I want to warn everybody that this is pretty racy stuff, by the way. So let's listen now to the shocking things that you posted on the site, that you got this recording that happened during this horrendous interlude. The shocking things that the channel's news editor, Hamid Razi Ahmadi, said to this anchor in a phone call that she recorded and you posted.
من به من ربطی نداره. زنگ بزن به یک، به من چه ربطی داره؟ چه حرفی میزنی ها؟ ای بابا، میام اونجا شیفت شب تا صبح وای میسم کار میکنم که با این چیزا روبرو نشم تو زندگی.
با چی روبرو شدی؟ هرچی تو لازم داشتی من نبودم، کاری نکردم. هر چی که لازم داشتی نبودم.
آدم کمک کردن یه جور.
هر چی که لازم داشتی من بودم رفتم. با تو رو دارم کیرم میمونم، این کبود شده. میخوریش؟
I mean, the hypocrisy. I mean, you have to see it, the hypocrisy of these mullah guys, and what's actually happening just blows your mind. First of all, what happened to this dude? Has he been arrested or what?
No. And this is really embarrassing, but first of all, I really need to say, this is not Iran. This is Islamic Republic of Iran's TV. They want the people of Iran follow their own lifestyles, and this is what you heard. And this is the TV of Iran who just published a news about me, faked my rape, saying that Masih Alinejad was raped by 3 men in public while she was undressing herself in London. You see, this is their mindset. This is the way that they think. Because in their mind, they're raping people. They're raping women who do not believe in forced hijab. Then they're making a fake news about those people who say no to compulsory hijab. And they were not even ashamed to make my son as a witness of my fake, rape sin.
And so this tape, when it was posted, what happened? What happened when this was recorded?
After that, when I just interviewed the journalists who were exposing the sexual harassment in Iranian state TV, nothing happened except they just said, we are going to do an investigation about the case, and now they are suspected to war. But we wanted more, because this is embarrassing. And sexual harassment in Iranian state TV who want people to follow their lifestyle, nothing happened to them. But if I go back to Iran, those people who rape you in their mind, I'm not sure what they're going to do to me.
It's incredible, really, to see something like that and to see them just getting away with it. So you're also working on some really heartbreaking stories, and we all remember the moving scenes of the Green Movement in 2009 in Iran, when young people poured onto the streets and demanded their rights. It was 2 years before the rise of the Arab Spring, but it was brutally crushed. And you've been giving voice to mothers of the young people who are trying to find out what happened to the children on the streets who disappeared and nobody saw them again. And how are you helping them?
I was trying to be their voices. Iranian government expelled me from my own country, but they didn't realize that with a mobile phone, with a laptop, I can be in my own country. And I tried to find those mothers who lost their beloved one. And I myself interviewed the family of 57 people who got killed, who got tortured to death, who got into prison and beaten to death. And these mothers are really brave. I have to admit that. I was crying when they were sharing their pain with me through the phone. But they were really strong. They didn't want the government of Iran hearing them crying. And when they started to speak out and ask a simple question, why and how you dare to kill people who are just protesting peacefully? Some of these mothers went to jail. Some of these mothers, they just arrested them, and the fathers as well. Why? Because you shouldn't give interview to those journalists who live outside Iran. But those mothers do not have any voice inside Iran. Last night, when I saw the mothers who were talking against gun violence in America, I was tearful. Because to me, I have been talking for 6 years to the mothers of Iran. Iran has a history of having violence against their own people. And these mothers are the bravest people, but they never had the chance to sit down like this and talk about their children. And I have to say that they tried to keep them silent, but the only and bravest voice that you hear from inside Iran against human rights abuse is the voice of mothers.
Right, I know. Well, mothers are critical right now in spreading peace.
Yeah.
Last question, Masi. We're in a moment, of course, when we're being encouraged to see Iran differently in the wake of the nuclear deal that the US has made. And we kind of want to believe that there's a thaw. We want to believe that things are changing in Iran, and that by exchanging with Iran and dealing with Iran, we will actually have a new day in Iran. Are we being naive?
About nuclear deal, I have to be clear that people of Iran were suffering from sanction. And people of Iran do not want to be isolated. So they voted for President Rouhani, and they are really happy about nuclear deal. But what concerns Iranian people is just do not bury the human rights under the nuclear deal.
Right.
This is what we want. When I saw the crowd, the first thing that it came to my mind was this. I was told by my own government that you have to burn American flags, and I did. I was quite good at that. And now I'm witnessing here in the United States that the government of Iran having a deal and negotiation with their big enemy. But they don't dare to have the same negotiation with their own people, with their own women inside Iran. This is what we want. Some people might say this is a piece of cloth that you're talking. No, we are talking about human dignity. We are talking about freedom of choice. And we are talking about our own identity. We are talking about those mothers who lost their beloved one. We are talking about those people who love their country and they want to live in their own country. I don't want to, to tell you that how much is difficult. Last night when Zainab was saying that for first year, being a refugee, he cried every single day, I just turned back to my husband and I said, you see, it's normal. I'm not depressed, it's normal. And my husband said, yes, darling, but it's for first years. You have been here for 6 years. And I still cry for myself, my family, my people. I cannot forget about them. When I enjoy the freedom, I cannot just say, forget about your own people. And I want to call all the politicians, Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, Obama, all of you, Tina Brown, Sheryl Sandberg, all the political figures, public figures, do not ignore Iranian women when they put themselves in danger. Don't have phobia about being labeled of Islamophobia, because we are not against Islam. In Islamic Republic of Iran, this is Islam which is against us.
All right, listen.
Be our voices.
Masi, I love you. Masi.
Can I say only one thing?
No, well, you can't. But what I'm going to say to you is we all hope in this auditorium that your freedom no longer has to be stealthy. We are with you every step of the way.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
don't want to be a stealthy. Thank you.